Hey everyone, this is the planning for day 3. The round 2 battles have just completed and we can see the results now. So I'm going to have a look and see if any of my plans are going to change. And then what I'll do is I'll set up the team numbers and provide the image to my guild. So what we're going to look at first is this one over here. So I was slightly concerned about this one, and I also realized I made a mistake. So in my previous videos, you would see that I put 5 teams on this space and 10 on this space. While it did end up okay, I realized later that I should have put the 10 here and put 5 on this one. Because at the end of the day, all I was trying to get was a few extra trial points, and it would have been slightly safer to have the 10 on this tile. At the end of the day, it ended up being okay though. You can see that we took them all out. We only lost one team in the end, so that's fine. And that also gave me some confidence that we're able to hold that tile. I'm going to have a look at this one, and I can see that we didn't get attacked on that tile at all. And I think we got attacked by gold down here. So you can see that they put some 14 teams on there. We didn't lose really many at all. So again, it gives me a bit of confidence on holding that tile with a lot less teams in the future. This one here, you can see that they're not really deploying many teams at all. Gold, blue or aqua, they are trying to defend this a little bit. I think they sort of realize that gold aren't really in this fight. So they're potentially going to try and keep a hold of that, and at this point I'm probably going to let them keep it as well. I'm not going to try and take this off them because whether we hold this one or we hold this one, we're going to be facing them here anyway. So I'm just going to leave that for now. And as expected, they took this tile here. Now, when I look at the battle on this one, I can see that they did try and take this tile from us. They put just a few less teams than us, but again, we took them out with many teams to spare. So at this point, I know that my guild is quite a bit stronger than theirs. I have some confidence that I could go down to probably around 15 teams per tile and be relatively safe. So I need to make a decision where I'm going to move next. Round 3, for sure, I'm going to be taking these 2 tiles. These are both safe tiles. No other guilds have access to that because we hold the 3 entry points to those. We're definitely going to take these 2 as well. Even though Aqua has access to them, I think they're going to start getting a little bit worried about being too spread out. For example, if they are trying to keep this one, they're trying to keep this one, and they also want to take these, they could be slightly concerned about trying to split. I also could try and take this tile off them. While it's a possibility and it's something I'm just about to really consider, I'm not quite sure if I should. So the options are really taking these 2 and just holding everything else, or potentially just taking these 2 and also taking this one. Taking this one, the advantage is that in round 4, we can start to block them off at this point, and we only then need to defend like this tile. If we let them keep this tile in the future rounds, we still need to keep defending them here, and they will also have access to this a lot easier, so we'll also have to defend them here and here. So I want to try and take this tile if I can, and I'm just going to have a look at my team numbers now and try and work out if that's something that I can do with my team numbers. And I might even sacrifice a tile like this one. I'm going to put nothing on, these tiles and just see where I can put some numbers on the page. So I'm going to switch over to the calculator now and just put in the plan as if I was taking this tile. Okay, so like last round, I'm going to fill in the point override just so everything is up to date, and I'm going to do that first. So we're now completed round 2, and I'm going to update the total points here. Okay. Then I'm going to come back to the point calculator tab, and I can see that now my override is set for round 2. And these round 1s are just going to say override because we don't have those exact points anymore because we've overridden them with these. You can see my round 3 predictions are still in there. and we start to get an idea of the total points that we might end up with at the end of the event. So I'm going to leave round 2 as it is. I think it's the same as what happened anyway. And I'm going to look at my plan that I had for round 3. So for round 3, I had already made the decision to take this space, and I think I made the decision that I will try and do that. So I don't need to make any changes here, but what I do need to do is create a screenshot and provide that to my guild with the amount of teams that I want to be on each base. So let's switch over and do that now. So today I'm going to use Paint to create my image for my guild. And what I usually start by doing is circling the bases that we already have. Now I always use yellow, and I think it's a little bit confusing for the guild because there's also a yellow guild over here. Uh, I did plan to use a different color at some point. I never got around to picking one, so they're just gonna have to live with it. And I think it's working so far, so not too many concerns. Then I'm going to pick which ones I'm going to take next, which is these 5. And that just highlights to them that those are like new tiles that we're planning on taking. So yellow is a tile that we already have, and red is a tile that we will be claiming in this round. And then what I do is I go in and create some little sections that are over the top of these, just to put some numbers over. I'm just going to skip through this part of the video and I'll show you the result. I put in some squares that I can type into over the top of, I guess. What I'm going to do is first pick the tiles that are safe, and I'm going to allocate teams to those. So for example, I know that this one is a safe tile, so I'm only going to put 1 team there. This is also a safe tile, so I'm also going to put a 1 there. This is safe, so it's a 1. Actually, this can be a 0 since we've already claimed this tile. And this one can also be a 0 as it's safe. I do want to keep this tile. I think I'm going to put a 5 there just to keep that. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tiles left. And I have 93 teams. So if I was to work that out evenly, I would have around 15 teams per tile. Now, I don't know if I want to do specifically 15 on each of these locations. I might decide to do 10 on some of them and 20 on others. With the way that the last battle round went, I think I feel pretty confident to just do an even 15 on every tile. And that way it's a lot easier for my guild to follow the instructions. I don't have any concerns about losing any of those tiles. I will have a few extra team members if I do 15 on the other tiles, and I'm going to put those extras on this top one because I really want to claim this just to close off this this little diamond here. So what I'll do is I'm going to set these as 15. And at this point, I'm not quite sure what Aqua's going to do. It's really hard to guess at this point where they might go. They might be assuming that I'm going to go after these ones. They might try and like fight us on these. They could also think, okay, they're going for all the middle. We're going to try and take these 2 outer ones. It's really hard to know. And if you're in a position where you are very equal with the other guild, then you might be, reconsidering spreading out this much. I'm at the point where I feel like even if we lose one of these tiles, I'm not going to be too upset about it. So, and we will deal with it. So at this point, I'm just going to go for it, and if we win, we win, and that'll be great. So I'm just double checking my team numbers. If you speak to anyone in my guild, there'll be a bit of a laugh about last week where I repeatedly counted wrong. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at 15, which is 75 teams. Another 5 teams, which is 80, and I have 82. So I have 82 teams, which means I can put another 18 teams, and I'm going to put them at the top, just because I really want to claim this tile. It's the furthest away from where I want to be from our base, and if we lose anything else in the middle of this round, it's easy to sort of get it back, whereas this one is like just sort of closing in our little range of bases. And just sets up for the rest of the week to be like a lot easier and simpler because we're now only defending Aqua on 2 points. So we're just going to jump forward to the future a little bit, and we are now an hour and a half before the end of the deployment round. And you can see that the majority of my guild has moved their teams. I have a few people that haven't moved yet. They might do that before the end of the deployment round. They might not. Usually, if it's going to be like a tighter battle, I would be messaging them and just getting them to move. I'm not too concerned about today, so I'm not going to do that. And at this rate, if they can get a few trial points from these bases, then that's fine. What I wanted to cover with you guys is how I place my vanguards. I did have someone ask about that in the comments of my previous video, and he was basically mentioning that I do have a few tiles where I'm not gaining the skirmish points. So, for example, I'm going to have these 2 tiles here where I have not placed a vanguard, and that's fine because for me, having a vanguard on here means I'm only going to get 10 points because it's an uncontested tile. And those 10 points aren't worth potentially losing one of these tiles. I'd much rather have my strong vanguards on these tiles that we're trying to keep or trying to take. So, you know, sometimes for my guild, it's better just to focus our vanguards elsewhere and overpower just by sheer fact of numbers. And the 10 points that we're missing from these 4, so 40 points total, isn't going to make a big difference. If it's going to make a difference for your guild, then you would have to weigh up whether you can still win all these tiles and be able to put a vanguard on these bases. Something else I wanted to mention is the fact that I don't always put our strongest vanguard on the base. So a good example of this is this tile here, where I have multiple vanguard teams, and I currently have it set as this one here and not the highest power. So I'm actually going to switch it to this one now, the lowest. And the reason I do that is I'm not overly concerned about my vanguard's ability to take out Gold's vanguard. And if they do manage to lose to the Gold vanguard, then at least I know that all my strong vanguards that I have left will be taking out the rest of their teams. In this sort of round, I don't think it's particularly important for that, as I feel like, you know, the 12 members that are left here aren't going to have any problem taking out, you know, majority of this guild's teams. There was a round last week where it was, last event, not last week, where it was very, very close, and I made the decision to put my weakest vanguard as the main vanguard, and I kept my stronger vanguards, and because of that, we managed to actually keep the tile. And losing 20 points on a tile is better than losing the entire tile. So I think it just depends on the situation, how close you are in points to the other guilds. It also depends on how comfortable you are with being able to take the tile with how many teams you have on it. If you're very spread thin, then potentially it might be worth taking in the hit on your vanguards to be able to keep the tile. If you think that you're going to keep the tile anyway and you want to get a few extra points, then put your best vanguard on that tile. So for today, I'm just going to leave everything as it is. I'm not planning on changing anything. I might send a quick message to these team members and see if they can move. But yeah, not overly fussed. And just gonna see how that goes.